Hello, everybody. Subscribe to 9 Volt Games. Yeah, I know. Fancy video, right? I wanted to get this video out. It takes too long the other way. So I wrote down a couple videos I want to do. But this one is one I want to do because I used to have a series called Remake This for anybody who's newer. And it's where I would go on and I would pick a game that was classic that didn't get the attention it got back in the day, and I think that it was just released at the wrong time and whatnot, or it was just a classic that needed a reboot. I think all but one of the Remake This I asked for, we have remade. So I keep asking for remakes, and I know it's not me who's making them happen, but it's just more, people have more interest in remaking games than making a true sequel. So I want to start a new series called Sequel Please, because I want a sequel to certain games. And that Legacy of Kain Dead Son game really upset me when I found out it existed, and I wish I never did. Because all the comments under it was like, fuck this game, let's just remake Legacy of Kain, Blood Omen, keep it looking the same, polish up the graphics. Yes, that's great. That's a great idea. Of course it is. But I also want new games. I don't want to be buying new consoles and getting remakes on it. Not if they're not going to put in the level of effort that they did with like Shadow of the Colossus or Resident Evil 2 or what Resident Evil 3 is shaping up to be. Those games are classics in their own rights, but these are also companies who are like concurrently working on other games too. We are getting Resident Evil, yes, but we're getting Resident Evil 3 and we got Resident Evil 2, but they are also working on Resident Evil 8. You know what I mean? So I don't want a company to just go back. They didn't announce a new Spyro. They didn't announce a new Crash Bandicoot. So it's great that we're getting these games, but what else are they doing with it? Like, it's nice to revisit it, but I'm not really going to sit there and plow through all three Crash Bandicoot games or Spyro games. I'm just not going to do that. Shadow of the Colossus was a rare exception. Resident Evil was a rare exception for me because it was one game. I guarantee you that by now, if they had re-released 1, 2, and 3 of Resident Evil, I probably wouldn't have beaten all three of them. You know what I mean? Because certain games have certain places in my heart. So let's stop remaking. And this is one, not Mortal Kombat 2, but it has to do with Mortal Kombat. That's what this specific video is about. You can't even see that action back there, can you? Anyways, I want a sequel to Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. And the reason that this one's making me upset is because all of Ed Boon's Twitter is filled with people requesting either Melina for Mortal Kombat, the same weird dude who always pops up in the beginning asking for stages that were in Mortal Kombat 9, or they're asking for an HD remake of Shaolin Monks. No, there was a planned sequel for Shaolin Monks and it never came out. And I think right now, with online co-op, Fire and Ice could come out. The sequel was supposed to be called Fire and Ice, and it was supposed to be focusing on Sub-Zero and Scorpion. What happened now after the release of Mortal Kombat 11, I know the way the story ended, it reset time. However, there's just always different timelines. But they kind of went full circle with the story where, you know, going from Mortal Kombat 9, MKX to MK11, where they had Sub-Zero and Scorpion as enemies. Then they had them do the reconciliation. However, they're still kind of enemies. They're still edgy and like they're touchy about each other. And then the third one, they're going on fucking adventures together. Why did we not get a sequel called Fire and Ice that took the jump off point for when they were going out doing missions together for Raiden? Why? We have so much story. I want you to think of like the pantheon of Mortal Kombat. Yes, there are literal gods in Mortal Kombat, but Mortal Kombat, to anyone who doesn't play games, you could show them a picture of Scorpion, you could show them a picture of Sub-Zero, and these people know exactly where they come from. They are easily the two most popular characters in not only in Mortal Kombat, they're two of the most popular fighting game characters of all time. If they release that now, here's my big issue. They could release Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, they could make it right now, but they can't sell it for $60. Unless they did something amazing like God of War style with it, which they're not going to do. I personally like the lore of Mortal Kombat, but they had to retcon it so many times. They just couldn't. They couldn't have an epic style story where they could stretch it out into, you know, a 20-hour game, a 24-hour game, something like that. They couldn't do that. But they could make it a 12-hour game, add in all the goodies that were in Shaolin Monks, because originally you were only playing as Liu Kang and Kung Lao, but then you unlocked other characters. And you even had an unlockable version of Mortal Kombat 2 in there. You could play as Sub-Zero, you could play as Scorpion. Everybody got addressed like it was Kung Lao and Liu Kang. But they added enough variety to it that it wasn't just a beat 'em up. They added enough depth where it wasn't just a side-scrolling beat 'em up. It was an awesome isometric view beat 'em up. Co-op beat 'em up. Beat 'em up, beat 'em up. I just want to keep saying it. They could release that game for $39.99 and they would turn a fucking profit off of it. I would play that with anybody who wanted to play that. Online co-op, couch co-op. Those are the only two things you need to put in it. I mean, hell, if you wanted to, make it a 4-player beat 'em up. This is the same company, from the same company that used to have a hand in Gauntlet. They know how to make cooperative, isometric view, dungeon crawler games. And that's essentially, I keep saying beat 'em up, but Shaolin Monks was like a very, I don't know, superficial dungeon crawler. I guess that's the way I could say it. It was a dungeon crawler, but it had as much depth as the Gauntlet Legacy games. All right, there wasn't a lot of depth to it, but there was enough where you could individualize your character, and then you could go through this arcade style of gameplay. That's all we want. Anybody who's played Shaolin Monks, and if you've never played Shaolin Monks, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. Go back and play it. If you can get the original Xbox version, that is the best way to play it. I used to have it on Xbox, but I personally play it on PS2. It's an amazing game, especially if beat 'em up games are your MO, where you go through and you level up your character by unlocking more abilities. I mean, you will max out eventually, but there's so much to do in the game that it justified the $50 price tag back in the day. And it helps that I was a fan of Mortal Kombat. But Mortal Kombat popularity is as high as it has been in the 90s. And if they want to release something like that and make money off of it because it's a guaranteed moneymaker, just do it. Release it. Because Mortal Kombat's really high right now. This is where it was in the 90s when I was a kid. And then it went fucking like this in the 2000s. And then it came back up. And it's back here again. We have a new movie coming out. Mortal Kombat 11 was extremely successful. It was one of the best-selling games of the year last year. Why are we... It was beat by Call of Duty. Any game that's coming out is getting beat by Call of Duty unless it's a new Grand Theft Auto. Release it. And at the very least, if you want to charge $60 for it, release the game and then include an HD version of Shaolin Monks. Simple. Why don't we have this game yet? I have so many ideas for this game that you could put into it. It would be amazing. I understand the technical aspect of it. If you're doing that, you have 8-way abilities. So it was kind of hard doing projectiles and stuff. But I mean, if you're, I don't remember the channel. The guy who says the Prometheus school of attacking people, CinemaSins. That's how all the enemies attacked you, by the way. It was surrounded, and they attack you one at a time. And then you throw out your projectiles. I can see how it would be hard with someone like Scorpion, because his projectile is straight, and he holds it until the projectile is gone. But then again, that could be like a really high risk, high reward move. I don't know. I could go into greater detail about it. I want to stream Shaolin Monks just to show it's fucking amazing. And I think now the bad taste of Mortal Kombat Mythology, Sub-Zero, and Special Forces, that's way past. We all know those were terrible games. But Shaolin Monks was a great spin-off game, and it's really sad we didn't get a sequel. And the reason that we didn't get a sequel is because it was all jumbled up in that shit with them leaving Midway. And it was planned. It was there. Shaolin Monks got high reviews. Sad. I really want that. Please, please, please give us a sequel. I've sent numerous things to Ed Boon over the years, so I'm pretty sure he wouldn't respond to anything I say, ever. Not bad things, but probably really annoying. Although, to be fair, well, while I'm on the subject of Ed Boon on his Twitter, and he's acting like he's irritated that people are asking him for things over and over and over again every day, or taking one thing that he says and then trying to turn it into another thing, like him showing something pink and everyone's like, oh my god, Melina confirmed. That's your own fault, Ed Boon, because you are a professional troll. Fucking Christ. Let me try that again. That's your own fault, Ed Boon, because you are a professional troll, not a trowel. You're a professional troll and you own it. So deal with it, I guess. I don't know. I want Shaolin Monks too. I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. Even if you're not a Mortal Kombat fan, be a fucking Gauntlet Legends fan. You can be a Double Dragon fan. You can be a Streets of Rage fan. You can be a Final Fight fan. Any of those types of games. I think we could bring them back, add some crazy online co-op capability, and they would do very well. But you can't charge $60 for those games. So that's my thoughts. Give me a sequel, please. I'm thinking in my head while I'm doing this, like I should have really prepared an opener for this, like I did to remake this one. Maybe the next one. What other games would you like to see sequels to? Put it in the comments below. I will, I'll go through and I'll play the originals, probably during streams, because I think that's how I'm going to set my streams up now when I'm doing these videos and I'm asking you for your comments. Tell me a game that you would like a sequel for. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a popular game. It could be a really obscure game. I'll go back and play the original and tell you what I think we should do with the sequel. So thank you guys for watching. Have a fantastic day.